Hello and welcome to Unfiltered and Overloaded, the podcast where the volume is high, the filters are off, and the vibes are definitely neurodivergent, extremely so. This is the space where autism and ADHD run the mic. I think Kroy's definitely on the ADHD, and I think my autism has definitely been a present over the last couple of weeks or so. And of course, queer voices take the centre stage. And being too much is actually the whole point. We're talking real life, real chaos, real feelings with humour, honesty, and just the right amount of dramatic flair. Expect laughs, hot takes, and conversations that bounce around faster than an ADHD brain at 2 a.m. and sometimes as deep as an autistic person with a special interest can get. So buckle up, stim freely, be yourself unapologetically, and get ready because this is Unfiltered and Overloaded. And we've worked out it's episode 14 and it starts right now. And my gosh, I can't believe I've got I've got people I know who really want to come on board here. They want to be interviewed and chat and talk. And I think, given what you shared on your Facebook page today, I think this is definitely an after dark one, isn't it? I was surprised to wake up to that and, well, finally got onto Facebook and had a quick look at things. Yeah, you shared a post.
Yes, I did. And I think you're talking about the International Masturbation Day one. I found out via just scrolling through Facebook Reels, and it was there. This girl was talking about it using all slang terms. I must admit, she was talking about the female genitalia. So I was a bit like quick scroll because I don't need to know that terminology. That's not for me. It's all these days to keep up with. And like we were having a talk before, like who came up with it, why, then we got talking kind of about pleasure, didn't we? And when we were talking about pleasure, I was thinking about, so this is my week off, which is fantastic to actually have a week off, but I'm trying to get a bit better at it because once I've done the counselling, I find that if I just sit still, I get really bored. But today, for some reason, my body went, just pick a movie. Don't really care what it is. Pick a movie, sit down and watch it and just sit. And I actually managed to watch it all. It was just Disney's The Little Mermaid, the remake. And I didn't even pick my phone up once through it. And I was actually able to stay focused. So that was my pleasure for me today, and that was really nice.
The Little Mermaid. I must admit, there are some films that are aimed at kids, but I don't know. Sometimes when you watch it, the humour is kind of cool and it's intelligent, it's funny, and sometimes they actually take on topics that are quite difficult. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. One of my kids got really into My Little Pony because they were into horses, and some of the topics I was like, "Whoa, this is really amazing." But anyway, you're talking about Masturbation Day and all of a sudden The Little Mermaid all in one thing. But yes, okay, it's also. I mean, one of the things I don't know about you, but if you say something like pleasure, you get interesting response. It's fun, it's interesting, but you talk about a pleasure park. Well, they don't talk about pleasure parks, they talk about leisure or fun. But pleasure's a funny word because it's like it often gets linked. I'm sliding down my chair.
You'll be gone in a minute.
I was going to say there's not a lot of friction between the plastic and the chair. God, it's going downhill already.
It's already gone there.
It's true. I mean, I'd like some pleasure for myself. And I was thinking about that whole term about self-pleasure. I want to pleasure myself. And everybody immediately thinks it's sexual. And I think, okay, we use the term self-pleasure. I mean, Rosa Maxwell, who runs with a team the London School of Tantra, and one of the courses early on that she ran was a self-pleasure course. What fascinated me in that was, yes, there was a sexual element, but a lot of it was all about healing. It was a women's course. It was about healing because so many women need healing sexually. But actually, it's not just that. A lot of women get disconnected from their bodies, People who have been in long-term pain. Childbirth can really kind of change your body, let alone menopause. Sorry, darling, it's not your bag. I know you just said this earlier. God. One of the things I really found that when they were looking at this course, it was actually taking time to be with yourself, just like you watching a film. It was a space where you just take time to be with yourself. Self-pleasuring doesn't necessarily mean you're going to masturbate. But that did make me smile when I saw it. And I thought, I looked at my calendar and, well, have you seen my schedule? No, I don't think I'm going to have time to have a lunch, let alone anything.
Put that in the diary, schedule it in, masturbation day.
No, is it the one day of the year? We're living constantly pushed. I know I cancelled a policy for breakdown, and all of a sudden all the paperwork's come through going, we've just renewed your policy. Guess what I've got to do in the middle of my day tomorrow? I've sent them saying, please cancel it, but I'm now going to have to go in and go, can you do it? It's all these little bits that you're constantly juggling, and then you're doing work, you're having to make phone calls in your breaks at work, things haven't gone to plan. And then you're doing this, and you've just said you've got days where you're not even getting lunch.
Yeah, there are. I mean, literally, I've had one of those ADHD moments again. I am so fucking loving these moments, honestly, because there's a little bit when you get diagnosed, there's a little bit of you sometimes that goes, not quite sure they got that right. Maybe that's not what it is, because when we spoke about this a while back, didn't we, about how sometimes the autism is more up front and the ADHD is kind of behind, or maybe that's up front. So I was just having a chat with Brian, for those that don't know, my husband, and I was talking about something. I set off on the path. I was like, this is where I'm going. I got halfway down the path and I went down rabbit holes, and I was like in the brain of my clients. And I literally sat there and went, shit, I've absolutely forgotten where I was going with this. Do I A, tell him the truth, or do I B, just keep going and hoping that it will come back? And I'm like, okay, let's just keep going for a little while. And I'm going and going. And it's almost like, when you're just like, even out for a lovely walk and you're just like, oh, squirrel, what's that squirrel doing? Oh my God. And all those things. And I sat there, and about 15 minutes had passed. I was like, I'm going to have to give up the game now. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I'm sorry, Ryan. I have no idea where I was going with this. I tried to do that thing where you work it backwards. It was having none of it.
No, it's so hard. It is so bloody difficult. I mean, one of my partners that I speak with a lot, because we've not had the facility to see each other much at the moment. And, we'll start on a topic, and he has to take quite a bit of patience. He has a lot of patience, and he knows at some point I will come back to the beginning. So with everything I've been saying, it does link back eventually.
Yeah, this is the thing, but it's really annoying me now as to, I know it was really important, but that's the thing. And then now, for some reason, when I went into the bedroom, I've now got a couple of hyperfixations and new focuses going on. And I keep finding that when I have a break from work, it is very dangerous. Because last time I had a break for work, I ended up spending the whole week redoing the garden, putting a new bed in, water features, everything. We needed Charlie Dimmock and everything. We spoke about that before. This time, I am redoing the bathroom windowsill. I've had enough of how it looks. I don't want the fucking word relax on there anymore, because I don't bloody relax.
Good point. You could have a bathroom of pleasure.
This is, but when you go out and you start with one thing, it's never one thing with me. I was like, we just need a blind. And then I'm like, no, we need to go to the garden centre now, because I've seen a vase that has like an octopus kind of scrambling down it that's kind of moulded on the outside. I was like, right, I need to go to Bay Tree to get this. And then while I was there, I saw 2 coasters that matched with it. And now we're on a whole sea theme. And I'm like, I'm not even sure I like the sea theme, but we're going with it because it's cost about 80 quid so far and we're not done yet. And it's like, then I went to the bedroom, and I don't know if you do this, okay? So I would have to have a look next time I'm over your way. People putting clothes in the wardrobe, but the hangers the wrong way round. I cannot fucking stand it.
No, they all have to be that way.
Yes.
And even the ones, because I've got these little hooks that go over the metal hang of it, and fill a little hole in so I can put all my little things going down. Now, don't get me wrong, it sounds organised. At the moment, I've got a floorscape, I've got a couchscape, because I've hardly been at home because I've been caring for my mum. And I've also had events to run, and I actually got my first proper holiday in 7 years. And I still had to do a day and a half's work when I was there. It was during that time that I realised how many balls I dropped. Enough to make a big ball pit for you and I to play in, It was like, what the fuck? I was like, talk about mass panic, I'm supposed to be relaxing,
You've got different glasses on today.
Because I lost mine once on holiday, I put both my working pair and my general pair in one case to save weight. And somewhere between Manchester Airport and the hotel, my glasses case fell out and I was wearing my sunglasses. That's why I was wearing my sunglasses on holiday when we did the video. I've now got all the messages back from the airports because we now know it was definitely within the airport. So it's like, now I've got to do the insurance thing.
Yeah.
Of course, you have 30 days to do it. And you know what that's like? It's like, oh, the autistic side of me is going, oh my God, I've got a deadline. I've got to do it as soon as possible. And you're looking at it going, and then there's part of me that's going, oh no, not another thing I've got to do. This is another little bit I've got to do tomorrow. So my lunch break tomorrow is got to phone the breakdown company and go, stop that. I want my money back, ASAP. And then I've got to go and phone the insurance company and go, right, okay, I'm definitely putting in a claim. Can you send me all the details? Or can I do it over the phone? Because one more form and I'll scream. An International Day of Masturbation, it's not a bad idea, let's just all take the day off, Because I see, one of the things I really have learned as becoming a touch therapist was the fact that touch is really important, no matter what age you are.
Yeah.
Touching ourselves, okay, there we go. Even just I've got shown this amazing thing. It's called a self-caring hug. Now, bear with me. Put your right hand into your left armpit and put your left hand onto your right shoulder.
Right, hold on, because I'm dyslexic and I'll get everything confused. This hand
that way.
Yeah.
And left hand up here.
Yeah.
And then put your head on your shoulder.
Oh, this way. Yeah.
And then just take a gentle breathe in and you relax your shoulders. And that actually does feel rather nice. I like it.
It's as quiet as we've ever been, isn't it? Oh, honestly, my brain can't get out of this masturbation zone. And when you were talking there, and we were talking before about the out of office email. Just think about that for a minute and how you would word it if it's, sorry, I can't answer your email right now. I'm too busy having a wank. I may reply when I'm done. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? That's honest, isn't it? Like, I would love everyone to wear these and Apple, if you nick my idea, I want money for it, just to produce a t-shirt that tells you how you're feeling, but it says it for the whole public to see, so you can't hide. So if you're standing next to someone who's really sexy, it will just say you're feeling horny or things like that. Can you imagine if you're standing next to someone that you absolutely can't stand? It would just say it.
Can you imagine if you have an ADHD moment? Oh, I like that. That's horrible. Oh, she's pretty. Could you imagine? I didn't like it just exploded, I
can't compute anymore. It's had enough.
If it was like me in the airport when I went non-verbal and I couldn't move, and I was like, and my flight buddy was going, yeah. And they say, well, do you want to wear a wheelchair? And I was like, because I'd had so much go on. And they went, nah, put her in the wheelchair. I was like, proprioception, sensory overload, cognitive overload, managed the crisis really well in the morning, got there, got sorted, and something just went ping in the airport. And do you know what really got me through that was when I sat in the wheelchair, he came over and kind of said, yeah, we're okay.
Yeah.
And that touch kind of brought me round. It was like, that was something that was solid.
Yeah.
I was something solid. And the power of touch is so powerful. Our country is one of the most touch-deprived countries. Why do we have to sexualize touch all the time? I think about, why can't guys just give each other a good hug? Rub my neck.
Yeah, but you talk about that. We've spoke about this before. Like, I can pinpoint exactly that. So we've spoke about this before. The guy I grew up with as my father. It's always very complicated to say that, so I just say my so-called dad. The hugging changed. At a certain point, it was about when I was 12, the hugging stopped. Then it was just like a kind of pinch of the kneecap kind of thing. Then it was a ruffle of the hair. Then it just stopped altogether. And it's like, that's why, like, now, like we said about the autism and, sometimes we like touch, sometimes we don't. I'm okay hugging as long as, like, when we met, we were like, are we hugging? We didn't just straight go in and it was like we needed to work out each other's boundaries. And that's great. I have that with my half sister. She knows I will hug her because she gives the most amazing hug. She just holds on for dear life. And I mean, she's a little bit smaller than me, so I can kind of rest my chin on the top of her head.
My son's like that, 6'2", whatever, 3. In fact, he bends down to put I've shrunk good old undiagnosed osteopenia and not treated menopause and all the rest of the things I could rant about. I've lost 2 inches in height, and I know it because I can't reach the bloody shelf that I could reach. It's like,
Well, you'll have to make up those inches in other ways, won't you? Told you we're going there today. It's just once you've started, you can't go back. That's the brain, isn't it?
this is half the problem, is the fact that if we don't know how, if we can't just touch platonically, and therefore no one gets curious about their bodies.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking there about what's in my house right now. Technically bungalow, but I call it a house. That's just my brain works like that. And I'm thinking, actually, there is no. Do you remember when this will sound sexual to people? We went to a hotel, didn't we? Wasn't seedy. We weren't. They can watch the podcast. I don't need to explain what we get up to in a hotel room. We know what we do. We charge by the hour, but there you go. But do you remember the full length mirror that was kind of by the door? And I'm thinking now, I don't actually have a full length mirror in this house. And most of the mirrors, because I'm tall, even the bathroom one, I have to squat down just to to be able to brush my hair. Got a mirror in the hallway, but again, that I can only just see kind of down to my chest. So actually, I'm thinking about this. But then you see, if we start adding more mirrors, the label of your vein comes in, or you get told this and that. So it's like you said, that all those mixed messages in your head, like you're bad, you're dirty if you do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. I will say it bluntly, and most men will understand this. There is nothing better than walking around with a hard on. Honestly, just naked and walking around and watching, I'm going to say him, bob up and down. Just, we know that most people, when they're leaving home for the first time, we know why you're leaving home. You just want to walk around the house naked. That's what you want to do. That's what you're doing when your parents...
You had at the weekend. I don't know if you could do much else, to be honest. I mean, I think that's what was so wonderful about the naturist hotel and resort and community. Yeah. The weather was really hot. And I mean, apart from getting sunburnt, if you're not used to it, Yeah. But I mean, why do we have so much shame about bodies? Is it because all of a sudden, we've developed over the centuries in various parts of the world, especially in the, I gotta get it, in the cold, in the north, you need to keep warm. We don't have fur like animals. Okay, fair enough. So when it does come off, it's kind of like, oh, that's what you look like underneath all of those layers.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You get used to it. Because I remember watching a video, I think it was on YouTube, about they got 2 straight guys who were just friends, and you didn't see anything, but they could see. They opened their towels to each other. Best friends that had never seen each other naked, and you could see that when it happened, their eyes did not want to go down there.
When you look at the lives of like Michelangelo and Da Vinci and various other artists, and there's other women and writers like Simone de Beauvoir and various others, they all had really intense, erotic and sensual and sexual lives, but they were also productive and creative. And my consciousness is neither gender. And in a way, do you know what? I kind of get that. I really get that. I actually find androgyny and, if a guy cross-dresses, I love it. I think it can be attractive. It can be sexy. A woman cross-dressing, people just wearing whatever they like. And I was just thinking, we're calling about cross-dressing. Why can't we just wear what the hell we like? If you want to wear a pink lacy frock, sweetheart, wear one. And if I want to wear jeans and a vest top and have a leather jacket and boots, what's wrong with that? But then you go, oh, that's butch. Is it? It's just clothing. It's what I fancy wearing in that moment. If I want to wear my heels and a floofy dress, and I can do that. If I want to wear me leather jeans and a vest top and then wear heels and some big earrings.
Just going back to like the non-binary side of stuff, I completely get that. I sometimes I see clothes in the women's section, and I stand there and go, but why is there a women's section in the first place? Why is it just not a clothes shop? Let me pick where I want to go. Because sometimes you look at stuff and you go, oh my God, that's a brilliant top. I'd quite like that top. I'd quite like to go and wear that. And I just think sometimes, even people talk about masculine and feminine food. Why do we have to do that? I go back to, and this is where I'm going to bring like a little bit of religion into it, is I was christened at a young age, but I don't class myself as Christian. So how do I get rid of that? Because that's something that was done to me before I even had a choice. It's not my choice. I've always said I go more with pagan. That's where I feel more kind of comfortable, but I'm open to anything. But But there's things like that that can damage, when and my mum would say this if she was still here, is this is the one thing that I went against her with was my name. That my birth name never ever suited me. Never suited me. Didn't feel right, felt very uncomfortable all my life. And that's as close as I can get to feeling not who I am, and that was quite a hard realization to go, actually, I don't fit that person. That's not me. That makes me feel really uncomfortable every time someone says it. Still to this day, if someone finds it out and says it, I hate it. Absolutely insane. And it's used in movies because movie stars have the name now and it's become more popular. But I still absolutely loathe it. I loathe it. And now I will tell you a word that kind of will tell you how I feel about this. There is a word that I absolutely loathe, and now people will start commenting on it. It is just...
Oh no, that's the word I said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, I was. It's just dado rail, and I hate it. There is something about it that makes me want to look. I'm literally doing this with my fist now. My fists are curled up. I don't know what it is. It is offensive on every level to my brain. I don't know whether you have this, and this is me jumping around with my ADHD and autism brain. There are words that I like to say that this is going back to that pleasure, sensual. It feels really nice.
Nice. Ethereal. I love the word ethereal. As soon as I heard it, it was like, oh, ethereal. And it's like one of these words I came across when I was studying for my master's. It was like obfuscate. I love that word, obfuscate. It was like obfuscate. And it's like one of those words that I love at some point in all my poor student slides I introduce.
You just say it, don't you?
I mean, there is something pleasurable about, this is why we talk about, people having mouth fixations. It's, you talk to people with ADHD and various others and ORD, and a lot of people are constantly chewing gum. It's like smoking, vaping, sucking on a lollipop, biting on the tips of pencils. It's not a fixation, it's stimming.
Yeah.
It's a sensory thing, losing my sense of smell and taste pretty well. I'm now absolutely obsessed about crunchy food, except the problem with it having hypermobility and EDS and calcium deficiency and all that sort of thing, because of I've got rid of my teeth and I have to be more careful with crunchy stuff.
Yeah.
Texture and touch is so important. And, sexual self-pleasure is important because it gives you the opportunity, if you take time and to explore your body, what turns you on, the erogenous zones, finding out what your sensitivity is like. How can, if you don't know how your body works, how can you communicate it when you're with someone?
Yeah, that's it. Just remember, this is ADHD brain. All week I have been trying to have a bloody smoothie, and I keep reminding Ryan, if you're listening to this, smoothie, for God's sake. Why is it these things happen to you when you're in the most, like, even in the middle of the night? I can wake up from a really deep sleep and go, my God, I need to remember that. And I have to hold on to that thought. Now I get why people used to tell me, keep a pad by the side of your bed. But the only trouble is, with us fucking ADHDers, we need a whole heap of, just get a box of paper. Like those fax machine ones that you used to get in the old days with the holes either side that you could rip off and it would just keep going.
The layered paper.
Yeah.
You have it for dot matrix printers.
Yeah. That's what we need.
My bed is piles of books and notebooks that I want to reflect in, and I've got various notebooks for various reflections that when I remember to write them down. But you're right. I know I don't want my phone listening to me all the time. Yeah. So I kind of don't want to have to shout at it, and I don't like listening. I don't like the feeling that it's waiting for its name, and I like my privacy. I'm sorry, I won't ever have a smart home. Nope.
Yeah.
I like to be able to turn it on myself. Yes. I don't want it to know that I'm walking up the drive and it will switch the light. To me, I love technology, but it's all too hackable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. What I would love is just a massive sensory house, just full of I don't want stairs, I want a slide straight into a ball pit. That's what I want.
Yeah. The question is, would you crawl up the slide, really trying to see how fast you can go, or would you do it backwards? Put your arms and legs out and go like
See, I'm thinking I would just have maybe some sort of escalator just to go up, or
You
like a little ski lift,
and you'd slide down.
just something like that. And oh my God, when we go into so obviously I'm near to Boston in Lincolnshire. When we go into the city, the works always have a bubble machine just out in the open, and you literally have to walk through all these bubbles to get into the shop. It's so lovely just to go through it, and it's just like we need a house full of that as well. If someone's got a sensory house, we would love it just to go and have a go. And I'm just imagining, I know you said you don't want a smart house, but just to have a go with one. Could we be like, I haven't got a robot Hoover yet because I think I'd be a bit curious as to where it is, what it's doing. You know, like I mean, I want a micro pig in the office. Again, my brain is going off tangent. I want a micro pig. I don't think I want a robot Hoover just yet. I'm not quite there yet.
I think where I really need hoovering in my house, the robot probably wouldn't get to. I've got boxes that need to go to. I've got boxes of primary school stuff that needs to go to a primary school or somewhere that they can give it out to people. I've got like 8 boxes waiting to go with all sorts of different key stage stuff. I have got, as I've just said, I have got a floor scape. I've got the couch. I've got things that need. I mean, at the moment, it's just crazy. It's just been a bit nuts, really.
Yeah.
I am hoping that over the next couple of months, you know, I thought it might get quieter, and in fact, it's going the other way now, which is not a bad thing. Being self-employed as you are, it's good to have work coming in. But then I've got all the projects. Yeah, and don't even ask me about my office.
Yeah. I mean, in this heat, it's been like, I wish I was one of those people. Like, apparently I was when I was younger. I used to love the heat. I would go out. My mum's told me I would go out in my like so-called Kylie hot pants, and that was it. That's all I would wear. Now, I think because I overdid it when I was younger, I feel like I'm boiling from the inside because we're made up of water and all this liquid. I literally feel it. And I think that's the kind of empath. So I have to make the decision. And I don't know about other people, but when it's this hot, I just sleep with the duvet cover without the duvet in it. But I can't sleep properly like that because to me, that's not a duvet. I need the whole thing. I need the cover and the duvet inside it. Even if it is 30 degrees outside, I would rather have that. But then I also have to put the fan on to sleep at night. So now I've got a fan buzzing. And when it makes a noise, I'm like, why is it making that noise? So I'm having all this sensory overload input. And why is everything going on around the world? Why are people kind of going, oh my God, it's too hot and all this stuff? And it just overloads my brain. And literally for the past few days, all I have done is sat still, drunk far too much stuff, mixture of stuff. God knows what my stomach is like right now. And I've just eaten literally my whole weight in stuff. My PT and my health person will be so proud of me. Not. I've just literally eaten and eaten and eaten. And that is it, because I felt like I had no energy. Like it just takes everything. And sweating, that is just dreadful. Like I never used to sweat so much, but now I can go out and my back just gets soaking wet. And I hate feeling like that.
That's what was so wonderful about the naturist thing.
Yeah.
No wet clothes, no sticky hands. And it was like, and you know, and being able to walk in the sea and just get some water on you, and the evaporation of the water was so cooling. And it was like, I think that duvet thing I totally get though. I mean, I've given up with duvets because I can never get them. You know, you always have to store them. You have a summer duvet and a winter duvet, and I just thought, if I'm going to store stuff, I'd rather store blankets of different types.
Yeah.
And yes, you can guess, I've headed towards I've got big, thick, plushy blankets. I've got thin, plushy blankets.
Mm-hmm.
At least then, if I've got blankets like that, even if it's warm, if I've got my bamboo silk sheets, they're great. But I can put a very thin, plushy blanket on, and I feel like, oh yeah, I've got that little bit of weight that says I'm going to bed. But then when I say that, on Saturday, taking a member of my family into hospital, there was a lot going on, and actually, in the end, they said water and various other things and whatever. I hadn't realised how tired it was. I had the jacket underneath my head because I thought we could be there overnight. It might get cool or whatever. And when they were in the cubicle, I put the jacket under my head I lay on the hospital floor. I've been sitting on the hospital floor because the chairs were killing my back and I couldn't cope. I was in so much pain in my hips and my lower back. And I lay on the floor, and I was told later, after I woke up, when the consultant came, when the doctor came in, I'd been asleep on a hard floor in just
Wow.
my lightweight sort of like pantaloon harem trousers and a vest top. I had gone to sleep on the hospital floor for 25 minutes,
Wow.
and I snored a little.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you shared that picture about International Masturbation Day, because it did get me thinking about self-pleasure and pleasure and sensory stuff. And I was thinking, yes, we do get sensory overload, and yes, we may struggle with our senses and all of that. And sometimes we get hyper fixed on things. But I think I really feel like we're so lost touch in our bodies and what we need. And we need the touch, we need the holding, we need the hugs. You need to feel like, yep, I needed a hug. It's fine, even with so many people I work with, it's so isolated, so stressed. We often we lose the capacity to actually even consider, as you were saying, for the self care of having lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it, isn't it? It's so difficult with the jobs that we do. And, don't get us wrong, we enjoy what we do, but we still need to put ourselves first, and you do sometimes you feel a bit guilty for it when you say, I need to eat, I need to take a break, it's all those things. So it's difficult, but let's kind of wrap it up. I'm going to say, I think we've pleasured each other enough to know. I think we're pleasured enough.
Well, I was just thinking, if we can't, if we feel guilty about having a break or having some time just to sit down and do nothing, you can see why. Just even it's like, oh, sex is almost like an indulgence, and self-pleasuring, masturbation is an indulgence, and it's like actually it's a health and well-being thing. And there's research saying that people who self-pleasure every day are mentally and physically far more healthy and fitter, and it can actually prevent illnesses and it can heal things. It's like, I think, you know, I think International Day of Pleasuring oneself, whether it's taking the day off and just watching the clouds go by, going out for a nice lunch,
Yeah.
go out and buying some sensory stuff. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I'll just pop that in the diary every day for some self-pleasuring. I'm just wondering, how do I get that past the tax man? Can I claim it through tax? How do I get that? I'm not sure how I put that down. I might need an accountant for that.
As ever, it's brilliant. It's just
Yeah.
so good to see you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you both on Sunday.
Yes. Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, then. Take care.
Take care. Bye.